So I want to talk about the beginning. Talk to me about Owensboro, Kentucky, the same town that Val Shively's mother is from. I understand your father was a pastor.
Yeah,
What do you remember
yeah.
from those times, specifically the influence of music around that time? Talk to me about your upbringing.
Well, I was raised in church. I tell folks I'm a drug baby. I was drugged to Sunday school, morning service, afternoon service, and BYPU. Now, you probably never heard of that term, but that's Baptist Youth Training Union.
Okay.
And that's where we learned about the Bible. We do Bible drills and that kind of stuff in BYPU. But I was in church all day, every Sunday, you know.
Okay.
And when I turned 18, after high school, I joined the Army.
Hmm.
But I knew, I've always known that I wasn't going to live in Owensboro.
Okay.
I'd always dreamed about the big city.
Mm.
Never been to a big city, but I knew I wanted to go to a big city.
Okay.
And so after my 3 years in the Army, I got out of the Army at Fort Hood, Texas.
That's right.
Yeah. And a
Now,
friend of
Fort Hood
mine,
was the start, though. That was when you first formed the quartet, if you will, right?
the Van Dykes, it was a quartet. Yeah, we had a quartet.
Where
Uh,
does the name the
was it
Van Dykes come from?
that came from Charles Perrier. Charles Perrier was from a little place called Clearton, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And he just came up with it. We said, hey, man, we need a name. And Perrier said, well, let's call ourselves the Van Dykes. So everybody agreed because nobody else had anything else, you know.
That's simple, huh?
Yeah, yeah. And so we started singing around the base and, you know, entering talent shows and winning them, you know, and that kind of thing.
Okay. Now, when I think of doo-wop, soul, group harmony, I think about, I guess, that cinematic angle of gentlemen singing under the streetlights.
Hmm.
Were y'all doing that in Texas?
We sung under the street lights, but basically in the latrines. We'd go in the latrine because the sound would bounce off the
Sound.
walls.
That's right. In New York City, I heard that they would go into the subway station because
Yeah.
the reverb or just the
Uh-huh.
acoustics were incredible. Probably
Yeah.
better than a studio.
Yeah. 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 So we would that's where we would rehearse it in the latrines. But we would sing anywhere we go. You know, if somebody would just strike out on something, man, everybody just jump right in because we was together all the time. You know, we ate together. You know, we'd go to the PX together. And little thing we used to do when we went through the line with our food, and you get to the cash register, say, "My friend has it behind me." Everybody would say that until you got to the last guy, and he said, "Man, y'all better come back here and pay for this stuff. Y'all know I ain't got no money."
That's incredible. There were two falsettos.
Yeah, that was after I got out of service. In the military, we didn't have no problems with that. But that was after I got out and moved to Fort Worth,
Okay, is
and I
this the
met.
stop six sound then?
Yes, uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. I met Winston Mosley and James Mays and Eddie Nixon. And Eddie and I are the two guys that clashed because Eddie sang first tenor also.
Mm.
And we just didn't get along. We clashed, you know. It wasn't no big deal to me because I would just drop down below him, you know. But and finally he just said, hey man, I'm out of here. And nobody said don't go.
All right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So that's
Now,
how we ended up as a trio.
what I love most about the group harmony, I mean, I love the harmony, but I love a soaring falsetto. When did you
Okay.
discover it? Where did it come from?
Well, I've been singing like that all my life. I'm a boy soprano. I sung soprano when I was in high school.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I got teased a lot because, and then I remember uh, distinctly one time we was in choir rehearsal in high school, and Ms. McClure, our teacher, uh, says, "Rondalis, I want you to sing tenor." And so I started singing tenor, and then finally I raised my hand. She said, "Yes." I said, "Miss McClure, this is too low for me. I need to sing soprano." And so she said, "All right, move back to the soprano section." So
Wow.
that's what I did. And then when I in the army with my group, um, same deal. You know, I would sing the top, and then the other two guys, three guys would fall in underneath me. And
Mhm.
I mean, we used to say have high harmony, man. But that's where I developed it from, you know. And then I heard Curtis Mayfield and
Mm.
just fell in love with the impressions, you know. And when you listen to my stuff, everything that I wrote, you can hear the Curtis Mayfield influence on it, you know.
You've said before that Curtis Mayfield was your idol. The impressions clearly influenced the Van Dyke sound, as you mentioned. What was it about Mayfield's writing and singing that spoke to you the most?
It was real.
Mm.
Yeah, just so real. I mean, Curtis, you know, he didn't write no junk, man.
Yeah.
His stuff is real. Yeah, I mean, you look at all his songs, you know. Um, People Get Ready, uh, Blacker Than Blue, you know, just all of his stuff, man. Yeah, it's just so real.
I say sometimes that there's music that you listen to, and then there's music that you feel.
Hmm.
You felt his music.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Did
Yeah.
you ever worry about sounding too close to the impressions, or did you see it more as carrying on carrying the tradition forward?
No, because I kind of had my own style, you know. I patterned it after him, but I had my own style. And so, you know, and it was cool, little antidote. We were in Camden, New Jersey,
Yeah,
and he walked in because we was on the bill with them.
that's right. Yeah, yeah,
They,
yeah.
yeah, they were headlining, and he walked in and says, "All right, where's that little knucklehead that's in here trying to sound like me?"
What
And man, I just fell over, man. You know,
was
yeah.
that like when you met him?
Oh man, tremendous. You know, just humbled. You know, and honored. Yeah, to finally meet him. You know, yeah.
Do you
And he came
remember
over.
most about that conversation?
Oh well, you know, we sat down and we talked a little bit and just you know man to man. You know, it was cool and the amazing wind they were there and Fred and Sam also was came in with him. You know,
Okay.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, but it was cool, man. I mean, just something that you just never forget. You know, this is your idol. This is the guy that inspired you to write the songs that you have written.
This comes from Val Shively. I've dubbed this question "Surviving the Apollo." Talk to me about the first appearance. What looked like a disaster ended up being good thanks to Jerry Butler. What can you share with us about that?
Yeah, we got locked out of our hotel. Our management didn't send the money to pay for the hotel bill,
Mhm.
and we didn't have no place else to go, man. So we went back down to the Apollo. This was up in Manhattan. We staying at a hotel up in Manhattan,
Okay.
and so we caught the train and went back down to the Apollo, well, which is called Uptown. They call that Uptown, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we were sitting around with our heads hung down, didn't know what was going to do. Management wasn't hadn't sent the money yet. You know, they kept telling us it's coming, it's coming. And so Jerry just happened to walk through. We was sitting around on the steps, and he says, "Hey man, what's going on? You, oh God, man, y'all look like you done lost your best friend." And I said, no, we ain't lost our best friend, but we ain't got no place to stay, man. He said, what do you mean? I said, we got locked out of our hotel. And they said they're not going to let us back in to get our stuff or nothing, man, until we pay that bill. He says, how much is it? I said, $300. He says, here, man. And he peeled it off.
It's a lot of
And
bread.
yeah,
What kind of
yeah.
hotel were you staying at?
Well, but it was for the week.
Okay.
Yeah, that was for the week for three of us, you know. So we jumped back on the train and went and paid that bill, man. And that's something that you don't forget. And then when we gigged with him again, I said, Jerry, can we pay? He said, no, man, no, it's on me. Yeah. And then when I talked to Val, that's how Val knows the story. Val says, well, I got Jerry's number. You want to talk to him? I said, yeah, man. Because I hadn't talked to him in years.
Mm.
And I called him up, Val called him up, and he was in bed. He wasn't feeling well. And the lady, his caretaker, says, well, let me see if he will talk to you. And she told him who it was, that it was Val and Tandy, the lead singer for the Van Dykes. And he said, yeah, I'll talk to him. And so I said, Jerry, you remember me? He says, how could I forget you?
Uh,
You knucklehead. How could I forget you? And yeah, so we talked, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes or so. But that was the last time I got a chance to talk to him.
so special.
Yes, yes, very much so. Very much so.
The Apollo Theater, the audience, always famously tough. But the Van Dykes got a standing ovation for Never Let Me Go. What did that
Yeah.
moment feel like on stage?
Oh man. Just kind of out of body, really.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, and I have seen how brutal they could be at the Apollo. There was a kid, and this was doing the talent show, and we was there with Joe Tex,
Mm-hmm.
and so he decided to do a Joe Tex song, and you know how Joe, or maybe you don't, but anyhow, Joe used to push the mic over and grab the
Didn't know that.
card. Yeah, yeah, that's one of his things. Push the mic over, and you think the mic is going to fall, and then at the last minute he would jerk it back and keep singing. And this kid decided he's going to do that, doing a Joe Tex song. Mike came back, hit him in the mouth. His mouth is bleeding. He's still trying to sing. And
My
they're
God.
ordering, boo, boo. Yeah, they finally had to come and get him. And yeah, they escort you right off the stage, man.
Did you have a ritual or any preparation before you would walk out on stage, especially at a place like the Apollo? Like, what was it like going from the dressing room backstage out onto the floor, and then you're there?
Yeah, yeah. Just prayer. We always prayed before we went out.
Writing songs from real life, when I considered all the different song titles in the catalog, love, loneliness, emotion, uh, authenticity, being honest. I mean, one of my favorites is confidence. Did songwriting feel like therapy for you at times? Where did all of that come from? Talk to me
Well,
about the
when I
titles.
when I wrote that song, I was going with a little lady there in Fort Worth, who was like the love of my life. And that was for her. You need a little confidence. Yeah, yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In fact, she really inspired me to write just about everything that I wrote.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
powerful.
yeah,
Talk to
yeah.
me about the
And
the
and
loneliness.
and and listen to this. We
Mm,
still talk uh at least twice, 2 or 3 times a month to this day.
really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're real good friends.
It's amazing. Does she know that she was the inspiration behind all
Oh
this?
yeah. Oh yeah.
What did she
Yeah.
say? I mean,
She's nothing. She just knows that she inspired me to write all them songs.
the Van Dyke's
Hmm.
recording often used very sparse instrumentation, which really put the spotlight on the vocals. Was that deliberate artistic choice on your part?
Yes. Yeah, because I wanted to be able to duplicate the sound that they heard from the studio when we recorded. I wanted them to be able to hear that same sound when we got on stage. Yeah, because I've seen so many groups and artists, when they sing, when you see them in person, it ain't the same. So I
Amazing.
wanted to be able to duplicate that sound.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
We got to talk about the biggest hit, No Man is an Island. Arguably the signature Van Dyke's title. It's unusual for a soul record to reference a philosophical phrase associated with John Donne. Um, it's so powerful. Do you remember where that idea came from?
Yeah, I worked at a plastics company over in Arlington, Texas, which is a suburb of Fort Worth. And I was the only black person that worked for that company.
Okay.
Everybody else that worked for it were white. And I was the janitor. I cleaned up. And so one day I was just thinking, and I said, these white folks need me as much as I need them.
Mm.
I need them to make a mess so that I can clean it up. They need me to clean it up because if I didn't, it would build up around their neck and they couldn't work.
Mm.
So we need one another.
It's powerful.
Hmm. That's where that came from.
Did you know it was a hit when you penned it?
No, no, I didn't. I was just writing and speaking from the heart, you know.
It's
And that's the
real.
way I believe to this day that we need one another. People make such a big deal out of racial stuff, but the bottom line is God made us all. And if you got B type blood, I don't care who you are or where you're from. If you need some B type blood and I'm there, my blood will save your life. And I don't care you're Indian, Mexican, or whatever you are.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. All of us only have B type, O type, and whatever the blood types are that runs through our vein in every human being. And so I tell folks we're all God's children. He made
Mm.
us all.
It's true.
And so, you don't get hung up on that racial stuff because it doesn't matter. Coffee's still gonna cost you $1.25 nowadays.
A girl said to you one time, "You're not for real," and that led you to write the song "I'm for real, baby." Is that
Hmm.
true? And can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, that is true. Uh, we were at the club. There was a club that we used to go to and perform called the Araby. It's in Fort Worth, Texas.
Okay.
And one night a girl said that to me, and it just kind of stuck with me, you know. Yeah. Oh, you're not for real. The hell you mean I ain't for real? Yes, I am for real too. And so yeah, I wouldn't put that together.
Mm.
Hmm.
Love that song so much, and this is really for the collectors. When I ask this, that wasn't released until later on. Why was that, along with a lot of the other unreleased tracks in the catalog? Do you know why they didn't come out around that time?
Stewart, Charles Stewart, who was our producer, and yeah, I still talk to him from time to time. He lives down in Austin, Texas, or near Austin.
Okay.
Yeah, and he basically decided what went where on our album and when would release a record.
Okay.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, he was the man.
Now, Mr. Stewart is half the reason that y'all ended up on Mala, right?
He is the reason. Of course,
Okay.
the story is that Larry Utah
Yes.
was down in Dallas and he heard our record And so he asked, called the station and asked the DJ, who are these guys? And the DJ put him in touch with Stewart. His name is Charles Stewart, but basically he called him Stewart, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. And so Larry and after he and Stewart met, he took the record back to New York, and we ended up on Amy Malabelle. hmm
It had previously been released under, was that
Hugh.
uh okay. And that was that
Uh,
Charles label though?
yes, that was Charles's label. hmm
What was the difference that you noticed when once it was released on Mala?
Well, just broader spread, Bell Records, man, national. Yeah, and we were just local, so we just got more publicity and more distribution.
Okay. Okay.
hmm
You went to the Apollo, you moved around quite a bit. Were there certain areas where the music resonated more and maybe was a popular in certain areas?
I would say DC was our biggest market that, and especially
Okay.
from a live music standpoint, you know, uh, the Howard Theater, and we sung at several clubs around DC. Several clubs. We pack them out, man.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, they come to see us. And DC was one of my favorite places to perform. I love DC.
Come.
Yeah, yeah, love DC.
Made DC your favorite spot.
Um, Basically the people's enthusiasm and the way they embraced us, you know. Yeah, I mean, and they knew us, man. It's like we couldn't get away. We walk down the street, hey man, there's a Van Dykes. And they come over and ask for autographs, take pictures and that kind of thing.
Must
Yeah.
have made you feel really special.
Oh yeah, 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 it really does. Because people don't have to take their time to be nice to you. I learned that from my mother. Mama used to tell us that people don't have to be nice to you. So you treat people like you want to be treated. And to this day, that's what I try to do.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Talk to me about a Van Dyke set. What were you wearing? What's the first song that you'd kick it off with? What was that experience like?
Well, that was basically on me. Uh, Amazing Wind would say, "Hey man, you pick the song, whatever you say." And so I would read the audience, you know,
Okay.
and yeah, and we'd read, and then I would decide what we're gonna sing, and um, basically I did all of that. I decided the song selection and where we were gonna sing it, and Maze and Wind decided uh, the clothing that we would wear. You know, I took care of the business. I went and rehearsed the bands, and I collected the money, which we split just three ways. And that's what I eventually got burnt out. I just got burnt out, man, because as I said, I did all of that, and it wasn't like I was getting more money than anybody else. Split one third, and when I decided that, well, number one, I felt like the movie industry, or not the movie industry, but the entertainment industry was coming this way, was coming to California. And so, and like I said, I was burnt out, and I told the brothers, because one of the guys that used to valet for us, a brother named Freddie Irving, moved out here with his wife, and we were in contact. And he said, "Hey man, you want to come out? Come on, you can stay with me." And so, and never will forget it as long as I live. Uh, Wax, uh, July 28th, 1970. '68 is when I came out here.
Wow.
It was a Sunday.
You got it down to the
Yeah,
day.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. And my little lady, she was now then. Well, and I left out of Dallas, Love Field, but you could walk right out to the plane. You know, that go up the steps to the plane.
Yeah.
And she was standing there on the tarmac, man. And I looked out that window and saw that girl, man, and cried like a baby.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, cried like a baby. That I was leaving the love of my life, you know. And
How could you do that?
well, I knew I had to go, man, because I wanted to sing. I wanted to sing. And one of the gulfs between us, she didn't really want me to sing. She said she wanted a man to come home 9 to 5. Well, I knew that if if I sang, I ain't gonna come home 9 to 5. But that's where it ended up, though. I came out here and I did some plays and things like that. Didn't really want to sing with no more groups. Um, when you got to deal with other folks, it's a whole different ball game, man. But me, I know if I'm supposed to be there at 4 o'clock, I'm going to be there at 4 o'clock. You know, and it's just much simpler when you are a solo act as opposed to a group. Because in a group, you got all the personalities and all of that, to deal with. Now we got along fine though, Maze and Win and I. But we got along fine. Never no real crosswords, nothing like that. Just like brothers, man. Yeah, and they remain that way even up until they die. Yeah,
Special. It really is.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And coach, you know I'm the last one standing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. As a matter of fact, I sung at Maze's funeral.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. When his kids called me and told me that he had passed, and would I come and sing at their dad's funeral? I said, "Yeah, I'll be there."
Oh, that's
And
special.
so, yeah,
Now, in my research, I was reading again, you were wearing multiple hats, arranging, taking care of the books, and there was I believe, a show that was scheduled, but the fellas decided to stay home. They didn't want to go with you. It was the Apollo,
the
and
Apollo.
I think you brought one of your group members' brothers.
Yeah, there was Lawrence. His name is that's Winsom's brother, Winsom Mosley's brother. So it's Lawrence Mosley, Lafayette Garrett, and myself. And we did the Howard, and then we went up to New York, and he stayed with us during the Howard. But when we said we had to go to New York, he said, "Man, I want to go home. I'm gonna go home." So he went home, and I sung in the Apollo with just Lafayette and I.
It was essentially, if I'm not mistaken, that was the last show, and then you ended up going to California after that, right?
Yes, yeah.
Soul music thrives on emotional intensity, highest of highs, the lowest of lows. Your catalog moves between joy and heartbreak, tears of joy on one side, and I've got to go on without you on the other. Did you
Mhm.
prefer singing happy songs or heartbreak songs, and fast or slow?
Well, with me, I broke them down to fast or slow. I
Okay.
said at one time, "When you hear me singing a fast song, I'm singing a fast song so I can hurry up and sing a slow song."
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, but I love ballads more so than fast song. But then, I will sing a fast song just to get the audience moving. I just came off of a cruise down to Mexico, and of course, they do karaoke on those ships.
Yeah.
You ever done a cruise?
I've done a cruise.
Huh?
I
You
have
have not?
not. No.
You owe it to yourself, brother. Yeah, do that. But
Uh,
anyhow, I went to the karaoke room and uh, I did My Girl, you know, and just got a standing ovation, man, when I finished. But
it's
that was
amazing.
fun. Yeah, yeah. But I did, and then again, they don't have a lot of selection because I really want to do some blues,
Okay,
but
okay.
they don't carry the very catalog of blues on those cruise ships. You know, I just give God the glory, Wax,
Mm.
because I'm still able to hit some of the notes that I used to hit. I can't hit them all that way now, but I still can get up there, and hold my own. Yeah.
I love your voice, by the way. I just a huge fan.
Thank you, man. Thank you much. I appreciate it. I sing with a doo-wop group here in LA, huh?
I don't know if I knew that.
Yeah. 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 There's a brother named Mike Ingram, and he loves doo-wop. He loves it. He's a big Temptation fan.
Okay,
And we do gigs like 2 or 3 times a year during the
really?
summer months. Yeah. Uh-huh. And there's like 4 of us. Yeah. Yeah. I'll send you some pictures of us.
I would love to see that. What area?
Yeah. What area? Well, we be all over the place, man. We was in um, 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 Heights, Rolling Heights. We was in Rolling Heights 1 year. This past year, we were in Compton.
Okay,
Yeah, we was in Compton, and then another time we were out in Highland. I think that was. That was in Highland. So
okay.
yeah, man. So we'd be, all over the place. And then like I sing at church just about every Sunday, you know, and do that. And then I also MC. I do MC stuff. Folks have birthday celebrations, wedding celebrations, and I can do a little stand up. So I keep it going.
Studio memories. When you hear those Mahler records today, what's the first memory that comes back from those sessions?
Um, one of them, um, Mr. Lonesome. Hey, Mr. Lonesome. Uh, I played organ on that. Yeah, and I'm not no real musician, but I do know chords. And so I just chorded on it, and uh, that's a memory that I'll always remember. And also, well, the first one we laid down, No Man's an Island.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a group called the Rays, and they were
that was
two.
the backing band, right?
That's right. Yeah, yeah. And it's two brothers and a cousin, and one of the brothers played the guitar. The other guy, Eddie, I think was his name, he played the organ, and then a cousin played the drum.
Yes.
Yeah, and so I says, Ray, we need an intro, man. He says, okay, let me think about it for a minute. He thought about it. He says, okay, how you like this? And he laid down what you hear, that intro of No Man's an Island. Yeah, just like
Just
that.
on the spot.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It was cool, man. And like I said, exactly what I wanted because as I said, I wanted sparse instrumentation so
Yeah.
we could duplicate it when we went to the clubs.
Where did the
Yeah.
arrangements come together? That was something that you were spearheading always.
Yeah, yeah. Just, I would hear it in my mind and then I would be able to tell somebody what I wanted, you know. See, I played in my high school band, so I
Yeah.
can read music. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
What did you play?
I played the E flat baritone horn and also the French horn. I played the French horn.
You talked about hearing it, you could hear it in your head. And I have to
Hmm.
ask you this because when I talked with George Kerr, it was almost like he saw it before it happened. And
Hmm.
George actually didn't come from a background where he was playing instruments or anything like that, but he could just see it. Did you feel like you had a closer connection and it was just there almost? Like it
Yeah,
came natural almost?
yeah. I could just hear it. I knew what I wanted,
Mm.
and I could hear it, and I was blessed enough to be able to communicate it to another musician, and so that's what I would do.
Did you have an overwhelming sense of confidence?
Yeah, yeah. I've always known who I am, and I know whose I am.
Mm,
Yeah,
that's deep. That's deep.
yeah, yeah.
Almost
I've
like
always
there's
had.
no ceiling, right? When you look up, there's no ceiling.
No, no, not at all. All things are possible through Christ Jesus, you know.
Believe
And as
that.
long as, yeah, yeah, and as long as you have Him, man, say if He says, if I'm for you, I'm more than the whole world against you.
Mm,
Yeah,
these are
and that's
quotables right here.
well, that's book, man. That's book. That ain't me saying that. That's out of the book. I tell folks, like I've never drank or smoked uh wax, never. And we went to parties, and stuff. I remember going to parties and seeing Coke piled up on the table, man, but I never was tempted.
Mm,
Nah, no, didn't need it. Born with a natural high, you know.
no, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. When I was in the army
Yeah.
and guys, I get up from the table to go to the restroom, and all I drink is Coke and 7 Up. And I come back and I just automatically pick my cup up and smell it. Now the guys used to say, "Man, I know Tandy would act a fool if he got drunk, man. Let's see if we can get him drunk."
You had to smell
So
your drink. Oh my gosh.
yeah, because they would pour liquor in it, and I'd make them buy me another one. No, no, somebody got to buy me another Coke, man. Come on now,
Mm.
and somebody would always step up and buy me another Coke. Yeah,
It's funny you mentioned Coca-Cola. That is my favorite drink.
is it
Period.
really?
I love Coca-Cola. I've had to
Yeah,
part with it. Just as you know, I evolve in life and I get younger. I know I can't be drinking Coca-Cola the way I used to.
yeah,
But
yeah.
when I go out to spin records,
Hmm.
that's what you see next to me, a glass of Coca-Cola, because I don't drink either.
Wow. Okay, okay, that's cool, man.
This is for the collectors. Your records, highly sought after, decades later. When those songs were recorded in the 60s, did you ever imagine people would still be hunting for them 50 years later?
No. No, not even, man. Yeah. Did Val tell you the story about the guy who wrote for the Smithsonian magazine, wrote an
Oh,
article on Val?
no.
Yeah, his name Richard Grant,
Okay.
and he's from England, and he wrote that story uh on Val for the magazine.
Okay.
That at the end of the interview, he asked Richard, says, "Hey man, is there anything that you've been looking for, record wise?" And he says, "Well, you know something?" Said, "There is one record, man, that I just love, and I've worn it out. It won't play no more." He says, "What is it?" He said, "No Man's an Island" by the Van Dykes. He says, "Oh man, I got that. As a matter of fact, I know the guy. He's from my hometown."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said he's from my hometown.
Yeah.
And when I read that in the article, I said, "Man, I got to find this guy." And so I looked up his record company, the name of his record company, B and B, I think, ain't it? Is that it? Name of his
BD?
record company? Yeah. Valve Record Company, and the BB or B&B.
Not ringing a bell.
Okay, I forget the name of it, but anyhow, that's how I found him,
Okay.
and I called him up, and we started talking.
It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
It's amazing. When you look back on everything, what are you most proud of?
I had the opportunity. I mean, there are good dudes that sang for years and never get the opportunity that I've had. You know, I've been on stage at the Apollo, the Howard Theater. I sung with Joe Tex, uh, Jerry Butler. Sung with the Four Tops, you know, and just all of those kind of memories. Pigmeat Markham, we toured with him, with Joe Tex. And yeah, just the folks that I have met over the years, when we were singing. Percy Sledge, you know.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah. And so I just consider it all a blessing, man. Because as I said, there are guys that are still trying to do it.
yeah.
Yeah. And some of them are in their 50s and 60s and 70s, Yeah. But as I say, I got a friend of mine, he said, Tandy, let me tell you something. He says, if you've done it, it ain't bragging, you know. But I don't really tell folks about it, or in a braggadocious way. If somebody asked me that I used to sing professionally, yeah, man, I used to sing with a group called the Van Dykes. But
Mm.
I don't just throw that out there, Yeah.
Speaking of the folks that you had the opportunity to share the stage with, I understand that this was one show you played where you were asked for your arrangements, and you just had your record under your arm. Tell me that
Yeah.
story. What what
Yeah.
what what did you take away from that experience?
Well, we weren't ready. That's what I took away from that. We were in DC, and we were at the Howard Theater. And as a matter of fact, it was rehearsal time, and the Four Tops, of course, they didn't show up. They sent their band director down,
Okay.
and they ran through their songs and everything, and they had their charts and stuff. And so they says, when they finished, they says, "All right, the Van Dykes, you're up next." And so here I come with my record, and ooh, I almost called it the band director's name, the music director for the Howard. But anyhow, he says, "Okay, now where are your charts?" I said, "Charts? Yeah, don't you have charts?" No, sir, we don't have no charts. He says, "Oh man, you gotta have charts. Oh, how are we supposed to play?" I said, "Well, I play my record for you." No, no, that ain't the way you do it in the time. That ain't the way you do it. He says, "I tell you what I'm gonna do." He says, "I'm gonna go home tonight. Uh, I'm gonna write the chart for you guys. I'll write charts for, and I think we sung 3 or 4 songs. I know we sung No Man's an Island, and I think we did People Get Ready.
Okay.
But anyhow, it was like 3 songs that we sung. And of course, Never Let Me Go was our finale. That's what we sung at the end. And he went home and wrote them charts, man, for the band and the drums even. And I think he charged us like about $400 or $500 for doing that. And he gave us the music. We from then on we could go someplace and say, "Where are your charts?" Here they are.
Just
Yeah,
like that. Wow.
just like that. Yes, sir. Yeah, but no, we didn't know you're supposed to have charts.
Sunday Kind of Love.
Mm-hmm.
That one was a song that had been covered a lot, R&B and rock.
Yeah.
And what y'all did with that was crazy.
Hmm.
What did that mean to you?
Well, I loved it. Now that was Stewart's idea,
Yeah, yeah,
Charles Stewart. Yeah, and he wanted to put the horns and all of that in there. If you notice, that's one of the few songs that we sang that had instrumentation.
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. And so, when we laid it down, man, I mean, I was, really proud of it. Yeah. Yeah. Really. And something I'm thinking, Wax, I don't think I've ever performed that song on stage.
Really?
Hmm.
Wow.
I can't recall singing that on stage.